Welcome back to the project renovating this 1857 Philadelphia row home. We've come a long way since earlier in the year when we demoed the back of the house. We redid all the framing, added this third floor addition, got siding, windows, roof. Now plumbing's done, HVAC's done, and electrical is just about done. Last week we got a new panel, and now I have outlets on every floor. It's incredible. Game plan for the week. The next big milestone is getting all this work inspected, and I have a long list of to-dos before we can schedule our inspection. So we just need to chip away at a lot of miscellaneous tasks to get this place ready for inspection. It is a gloomy and quite humid day here in Philadelphia, and I'm really dying to get a little sense of completion, so we got to finish up this subfloor. You know, 3 pieces. Let's get it done. Oh, we got 1 sheet done. I don't know if you can really tell how sweaty I am, but it's something about the humidity. Whew! Everything's wet. The hammer slipped out of my hands and flew down the stairs. Yeah, the humidity gets you. It's not always the heat. Let me show you what I had to do here. So the biggest challenge with these subfloors is getting the tongue and groove in, and we had trouble with this piece getting it in, and trying to get it in, I damaged the groove, and also getting these up here, up those stairs, we damaged a little bit. It's just hard not to damage them, but being alone, I had to screw this board in so I could hammer it over, because sometimes you need to step on the tongue to get it to set properly. And I was just fighting with this thing forever. Sometimes you gotta pop one screw in one end to secure it there and then rotate it in, but pretty happy with it. There's a little gap, maybe a little less than 1/8 of an inch, which I think is totally acceptable, accommodates some expansion contraction, and you're also supposed to have a little gap here as well. So I'm happy with it. Down here, the groove was really damaged trying to hit this board in there. So let's just keep going. I just finished up with this blocking over here, and there's a couple of reasons to do it. For one, like a lot of places around here, because this floor is out of sequence, it should have been floor then walls, we have to keep the little bit of floor underneath this wall. And even if we didn't have this wall here, we would probably put blocking on the ends because it stops the deflection where it's unsupported. Where the panels meet, it's supported by the tongue and groove, and on all the edges it should be supported. And then there's the added benefit too of resisting any twisting of these joists, which there was only one that had got a little twisted over time. But generally, this is good news. This is the first time I've seen these joists doing this floor, and I presumed they were fine because they're up on the 3rd floor. I hope termites didn't get to them. And I was right. For the most part, they're pretty good. There's a little weird little water damage over here that I guess was a roof leak at one point, but perfectly structural. And I think we're ready to lay down the last bits of subfloor here. Nice. Check it out, check it out. Subfloor done. This is the 2nd subfloor I've installed myself, the first being down where the kitchen used to be. We got it done, but one thing I've noticed walking around is some places the tongue and groove isn't quite tight enough or was damaged, and there's a little bit of a kind of creaking I don't know if you can hear any of it. But really what I should have done if I knew the tongue and groove might be compromised is do like 2x4 blocking on the seam to give it extra support. And now there's drywall on the underside of this, so I can't access it. So I think I'm gonna have to live with it. And I put some glue in one of these and it actually kind of seems to have fixed the issue. So moving on to the next task. With all the manual labor I've been doing, it's more important than ever to have a decent diet to help my muscles recover, high in protein and hopefully low in preservatives and everything. That's why I'm super excited about the sponsor of today's video, Hungry Root. Each week they send you a box of snacks, groceries, and meals, most of which are ready in just 15 minutes. They become basically your personal nutritionist as you can tell them your health goals and they can do the shopping. For me, I was able to specify a high protein diet, so my box contained high protein meals like cheeseburgers and also great high protein snacks like egg bites and beef jerky. Take advantage of this exclusive offer, get 40% off your first box and also get one free item in each box for life. You can use my link in the description, scan the QR code, or go to hungryroot.com and use code ChrisHytha. Again, that's 40% off your first box, plus a free item in each box for life at hungryroot.com using code ChrisHytha. Thanks again to Hungry Root for sponsoring this week's video. Let's get back to it. Fortunately, finishing this subfloor is kind of the first of many steps because I'm left with all of this old wood. A lot of this is going to be used to patch in the kitchen floor, which has been open for far too long. And I also have other plans for this old wood. And the first step is just denailing it all and trashing any pieces that aren't usable. I'm almost finished processing this big stack of old lumber. Let me just show you what I'm doing. First of all, I got old real quick bending over, so using my railing here as a little work surface. First step is nails. These are all cut, so it's kind of hard to get them out, so I use a piece of a nail that's discarded. And then it's enough that I can get that piece of nail out. And that's important, of course, because when this becomes the floor or otherwise, and we're sanding it, these nails are gonna ruin the sander. So, gotta get those out. Next step, on the top of the tongue, there's all kinds of debris. And this is like old floor finish and also probably like dead skin cells from people who were alive during the Civil War. And we have to get all this cleaned up because with all this gunk in here, we're not going to be able to get a tight fit when we reinstall with the tongue and groove. Final step, you got to flip that bad boy around and do our best to clean out the little groove, just like we did with the tongue. Once all that's complete, we're ready to add it to our nice reclaimed material pile. It's a whole lot of work reusing materials like this as opposed to just buying it ready to install, but I think it's worth it. Look at this beautiful wood grain, just dying to be sanded, ready for its next life. I've just been cleaning for the past hour or two, and we're getting there. I gotta organize all this. There's just old wood everywhere, I swear. But we have one rare unoccupied room. It is an absolute disaster down here in the basement. So we gotta put some time into cleaning this up. Cleaner than it was. An update on the ever-present water problem down here. Next Monday, we should be replacing the waistline and the supply, which will really help. And I think this Friday, we're gonna do the drain back in the alley. And that'll resolve all the moisture there. This will resolve moisture here, and we're getting there. And then once it's all mostly dry, I'm gonna spray everything with vinegar, as one comment suggested, and get it right down here. I've got a job up here on the 3rd floor that isn't even on my list. There's frankly a lot of things I need to do that aren't on the list, but it's something that I've been excited to do because there's something that needs to be resolved. So here's the problem. I'm gonna keep these. For a while I debated replacing them with these old joists over here, but this is more authentic. This is what was here, and I like it. It'll work fine. The drywall is gonna be up on the 2x4s with the slanted ceiling, but I like that this kind of defines a smaller space, and it also gives a place to hang lights or plants. Main problem, when you go up and sight these, it's a little hard to tell, but this first one and that one with the white thing on it are really sagged. And on top of that, you can see this one is basically cracked in the middle. When I pull on it, it just wants to break. Plus, it's messed up here, and this is where the drywall is gonna be, and this would just be such an unclean condition, having that weird profile at the drywall. This is the other one here that was very sagged, which has a big kind of chunk taken out of it. So they're just not aesthetic, and the good news is, got some big lumber that's pretty nice to try to replace it. First step, I want to cut this far enough back that the new one still has room to bear on the brick wall here. All right, now this is nice and loose. Maybe we just snap this thing. I love like hanging on things. So I've been so sad about how this one, if you hang on it, just breaks. All right, and we have some electrical mounted on the side of this one. We're gonna have to replace. Woo! Good riddance to that beam. I'm going to try to get this in place, and because you walk up the stairs and see it, being careful with what side I want to display. And this one isn't perfect either. There's a little bit up here that I want on the back side. A very slight bow, which is fine because the other ones are bowed too, but I want the bow going down rather than up so it matches the rest of them. So first step, I'm just gonna test fit this just to see what length I'm working with, and then I can make a cut. Got plenty of room on that side. Wrong side of the, yep. It's looking better already. We're gonna need one more big long piece to replace this other one. Hope we have one. Got a couple things marked. So now we can bring this back down, get it cut, and then secure it for good. Okay. All right, back up for the final time. Make sure it's in the right orientation. All right. Oh, well, that was unfortunate. I just got hit in the head by a hammer because very frequently I make the mistake of leaving tools up here and then moving the ladder. But I think I'll learn my lesson after that one. Luckily it didn't draw blood, but I got a bump on my head. So, you know, you live and you learn. So finally we can just throw some nails in this and call it a day. You might be wondering why I look surprisingly presentable, which typically I don't while I'm working on the house. And that's because it's currently 5 o'clock. You might be asking why I'm starting my workday at 5 o'clock. It's kind of a long story. Basically, this weekend I have a job to do in Pittsburgh. For the most part, doing this house and doing YouTube is my full-time job, but I'm also a freelance artist, and most of the time it's working on my own projects, but every once in a while I take commissioned work. And if there's one thing you need while you're renovating an old house like this, it is money. So of course I had to take the job. And as you may know, I don't own a car, so I actually had to borrow my mom's car. Shout out to my mom. So this morning I took a train back home, hung out with my family a little bit, and just got back. The good news is I have a car, and I've been stockpiling materials in my studio and my apartment, and it's about time I got some things to the site. There's a couple things I'm excited about. For one, we got this big spool of Cat 6A cable. Everyone in the comments has been begging me to wire up the network of the house, and it's definitely a good idea to do that. So we're gonna install access points on each floor for the Wi-Fi, and the router's probably gonna be in the basement, so we'll do runs all the way down there. Also gonna do a connection point to the TV in the living room right here, and Ethernet jacks in the office spaces. And if I have any cable left, I'll be doing cameras and maybe like doorbell system. We'll see. The nice thing is I didn't have to pay for this Cat 6A cable. Nice subscriber, Don, sent it over. He sent a little note as well with all the info I need, as well as some tools for the install. So shout out to Don for helping me out. The next thing I have here is the, the mounting points for low voltage, which are these orange kind of boxes. And this will give a nice place for the drywallers to leave open, where we have Ethernet plugs and stuff like that, and the access points. And the final thing I brought over, which I want to hook up with the time I have left today, is this big box. Any guesses? It's a dehumidifier. I actually already have a dehumidifier downstairs, but it is severely underpowered. And now that I have the new electrical hookup, I can actually run this thing 24/7. I forgot to mention also that because of this work trip to Pittsburgh, I'm not working Friday either. So this week was a 3-day work week. So not a whole lot getting done, but a much needed break for my body. Been very sore. I've had this nasty little thermometer down in the basement for some time now, and it's been pretty much 100% humidity down here for a very long time. So hopefully the big new dehumidifier can fix that. Excited to monitor the progress. We got some standing water here in the basement, but we got this thing purring. It's a lot bigger than the other one. And it's just been so maddening down here. Like when I empty the tank of the dehumidifier, if I pour it into this clean out here, the majority of the water just drains right out my waistline because it's all cracked over here.